So, my friends, you might ask me, after all these quality nice razors, why did I buy this piece of shit? So, when I saw this on AliExpress, it instantly revoked my memory to my first razor, which was approximately same difficult to open up, but I'm managing to get through it. And bear with me for a second. And since I was a college student, this was the first razor and probably the only one which was available in supermarkets. So, it is the same Gillette type which I had, the plastic handle. Nothing too special, nothing too crazy. Actually, it has only one bullet pin and the blade is held with these corner stoppers, as you can see. And I was using this razor for, I don't know, maybe way too much and way too long. So I don't remember which blades I had back then, probably Gillette's, but this time I will load Astra Green. And I was thinking, after all these razors, tryouts, all the good stuff which I land my hands on, I was just curious to see how everything started. So I'm screwing this on top, and to be quite honest, it is very nice balanced. I'm trying now to see what is the exposure, which is quite nice, but I do have one small, I hope you can see it in here, like casting a flicker of metal. Maybe it was damaged. I'll try to just scrape it with the scissors so I don't scratch my skin. So this is it. I'll be using Palmyra as in the good old college days. And for this razor, originally it lasted me for like 4 or 5 years. I did have a lot of bad shaves, a lot of nicks, cuts, irritations, all sort of things. And one time it dropped from my washing machine, and you might guess that really shabby, I don't think it is even the true Zamek alloy thread just snapped and I was left without the razor. So after that I tried Wilkinson Black. Again used that one for almost until 2021. So basically most of my life I didn't use any good razors. At some point they were not available at all for me. And at some point they were just a little bit too expensive. So I used to shave only once per week, when my skin is fully recovered and when I had like fully grown whiskers. But now, as I'm trying a lot of cheap razors, a lot of high-end razors, and since this, let's say, more quality and nice shaves are no longer surprise for me, but more and more are becoming daily routine, I was intrigued just to see, did I improved anything in my lathering technique, in my face preparation. Maybe I was completely wrong at some point. And when I saw this one on AliExpress, it immediately turned all the memories. And for like $4 I just thought, let's see and recheck, is good brush, expensive soap really that better, or maybe I was completely wrong from the first time. So, speaking of length, I would say it is a little bit over 10 centimeters. Very light, very thin profile head, and you can see how the thin this metal is. So I would say that it is practically worthless for production and everything. I will just load my brush or a bowl of water so I can just rinse it off. And let's see how is this cheap razor shaving. I have only 1 day of beard growth, just after R89. So far it is very vocal, I would say. It's giving me just enough sensation to know that something is happening. But since the metal is so goddamn thin, I feel like this razor is approximately same thickness as my whiskers. So yeah, not really inefficient, but there is some leftovers. Maybe a little bit more compared with R89. So I'm still resisting not to press this one into my skin. I'm deliberately not talking much so you can hear the feedback from the razor. It is, I would say, okay at rinsing. But somehow it just feels unpleasantly light, like you have the feeling that something is going to snap during the shave. And for everything else, I must say that I didn't have such nice shaves at the college, so the soap is the same. It's Palmyra Cube, so something which I already had. The brush is definitely one of the important parts of this equation, at least in this setup, with, let's say, familiar razor. I would say that also Astra blades are a little bit more polished compared with Gillette's and some other blades, because I like Astra for its convenience, lack of surprises, because the first and the last shave is going to be about the same, so there is no dulling, no tuning in the blade, so it's just right out of the box, so no surprises. And now let's see the second pass, which I never had while I was younger. I always shaved upwards on my neck, even on the first pass, because it was the only pass which I had. And that wasn't so comfortable. Now I'm still sensing that bite on the safety bar. So after this I will maybe use it just once or twice, if I manage to resolve that issue. Because it looks like the safety bar was hit with something sharp. And now I have this tiny bite mark on it, so I do feel it on the skin. Luckily it's not yet cutting me. And to be quite honest, I just planned to revisit this razor and to throw it away, because for €2 I got that twist to open razor, which is much higher quality than this one. So if you see this Gillette Blue Blade or Gillette Tech or however it is called, please skip it, don't buy it, it is utterly shit. But so far it is at least proving that soaps and brushes are maybe more important for a nice shave than razor itself. Of course, more quality razor definitely helps. It brings a little bit on comfort, speed, better sensation on the skin. Now, depending on the type, some razors would actually be very precisely designed to actually grab that flat growing whiskers. So it's definitely not a gimmick. Somebody is trying to steal your money and give you some high-end razor for a ridiculous price, which is the same as this one, because that is not true. At least when it comes to safety razors, you will definitely see in quality of the shaves where that extra few bucks really went, because I cannot argue with that. I am the cheapskate, but still this is not something which I would recommend for daily usage. although I pulled a pretty decent one. Yeah, got the pimple, or maybe scraped that with this one. So at least no cuts, definitely much better shave than I had in my youth. So let's check the slickness is okay. Yeah, not so close around the mole, but I won't insist on it. Yeah, neck moderately clean. Not BBS, not close to R89, but still, I would say, nice passable shave. Now see on the towel that I do have some micro skin damages, but in this version I will attribute that for this machining imperfection on the safety bar. And interesting, I do have a lot of aftershave splash tingling. Not by much, but definitely I sense a lot of tiny needles in here, which means that either this blade is not secured enough, maybe it is wiggling a little bit, maybe it's not even, quite horizontal, because when I look at this, now when it's tightened down, it's like this indentation, like the blade is squeezed in the center and not on the ends. So definitely there is some cost which you will pay if you save like 15-20 bucks. So don't be a cheapskate, use the real stuff, and of course watch Wicked-Whiskers. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye.